Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? Mike here in Washington, state of Washington. How's everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm catching an update on my journey in the world of testosterone. It's been very interesting. As you know, if you looked at some of my other videos, I'm 70 years old, never been to a doctor in my life. I do my own research. I perform my own experiments on myself. And that's how I started my testosterone journey. Always believed in it, researching it 20 years ago. And at that time, men weren't getting much like they are now. I'm sure doctors were prescribing stuff to men, but it wasn't a thing. Women were getting all kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, why don't we get stuff? It made sense to me. And so, as you know, I'm 70 years old. And I was starting to feel a little like it and decided to score some testosterone, which I did at the gym I go to. There's a lot of bodybuilder types, and I did my research again. Like I said, I'd done it in the past, and I did it when I was thinking about it at that point, which was a couple months ago. And the gym I go to has a lot of bodybuilder types, and I'm not a big fan of doctors, so I reasoned to myself, well, these guys seem to know. If anyone knows about testosterone, they would. And so struck up a conversation with a guy, got some. So as I've said before, I did 6 injections, 0.5 ml, twice a week. And the first time I did it, I'm repeating myself from previous video, but first time I did, I was telling someone today, the next day, it was like paradise, dude. Immediately, all my aches and pains were gone. My mind was clear. And my libido was off the chart. But of those 6 times, 2 of them had me concerned because my heartbeat was over 100 all day long. And it's usually around 60, 70, around in there. And then I went online to a steroid forum and telling them my story. And they all freaked out, said I'm going to stroke out, have a heart attack, and blah, 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 blah. And which I've been a carnivore for 5 years too. And so when I decided to only eat meat, people told me the same thing. So, you know, most people don't do their own research and they just repeat stuff they've heard. And I know that. And but it did have me concerned. I ain't going to lie. And so I decided to go legit. So I never had a blood test and wasn't looking forward to having one because basically I don't trust them. They want to get you on all kind of meds and only eating meat for 5 years. You know, those tests might come back a little trippy, right? As you know, I've told the story before. My test came back really good. I had elevated liver enzymes because I knew from 30 years ago drug use, I had a Hep C. I've never had any symptoms, but I knew it would be elevated. But everything else came back good, kind of surprised me in a way, but my testosterone level was off the chart the other way. You know, I was afraid it was going to be too high. And so I think I did 1 injection in 2 weeks before I went. Still thought it would be high and probably too high, but it came back 165. Not 1165, but 165. You know, I'm like a girl, man. And it's funny. I said, I've been faking it all these years. Apparently, I was surprised it's so low, but I was happy it was low so they could prescribe me something. Estrogen, negligible, free test, nothing. So, yeah, that was good. It came back so low. But anyhow, I'm legit now from a clinic. I do go get a blood test in a couple weeks. It'll be my second one after my first initial one, of course. And so we'll see what happens. They had me on inostrozole or whatever it's called, and some had Ganadderall, and so I wasn't a big fan of the inostrozole. I'm no doctor, by the way. If you don't know that already, you got a real problem. But I'm no doctor. This is just my experience. So I did my research on that. A lot of guys weren't big on it. And so I haven't taken it like I'm supposed to be honest with you. I took a little bit And the gonadotropin, or whatever it's called, I haven't taken that religiously either, although I'm not concerned about that as much. I mean, I don't want my nuts to totally shrink up. And I'm 70, so I don't need to worry about kids, but I've been taking a little bit of it. So we'll see what happens. But the anastrozole, jury's still out on that. I'm not big on taking any meds. I don't take medications per se. And but I've taken a little bit. So we'll see what the tests come back. I'm not necessarily a numbers guy, because with testosterone and all the numbers, it comes down to how you're feeling, I think. And so how am I feeling now? I'm feeling pretty good. Testosterone is not a one size fits all. I have a hard time believing that, because I believe that if you eat the carnivore way of life, only eating meat all the time as much as you want when you're hungry, and I believe it'll do certain things to anyone's body in a positive way. It will give you some lean muscle, eventually make you lose some weight, but it'll be lean muscle. It'll make you feel a lot better. But that's another story, which I'll get into too. I have, since 2 weeks ago, ate my first carbohydrate in 5 years. I ate a half of a yam. And I'll tell you why, basically, because, I put on 12 pounds with testosterone, which is not unusual. But like I said, carnivore keep you lean and mean, and I like that. But if I'm going to do testosterone, I need some size in my muscle. So lean and mean is great, but if I'm going to do it, let's put some size on, baby. And so I decided to start a few carbs, and all I'm eating is rice and yams. And so I'm going to try that out and see what happens. I'm thinking I need to. I've been eating my prime rib, my hamburger, and things like that along with it, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to cut out some fat with the carbs. Because carbs and fat, you're probably going to put some unwanted weight on. I believe that fat is healthy. I believe we need fat. I believe old people have brain problems because they ain't got enough fat in the brain, because 50 years ago they told us fat was wrong. With the pyramid, the food pyramid, which is bogus. As we know now, the tests actually show it's probably just the opposite of the pyramid. Turn that pyramid upside down. Eat that way, you'll be a lot better off, in my opinion. I mean, I guarantee that one. But whatever, I'm not a doctor, duh. But results speak for themselves, right? And so, anyhow, so the carbs are going to burn in exercise, which we know carbs are a source of fuel. Sugar, carbs become sugar, is a source of fuel, no doubt about it. But fat's also a source of fuel. So for a carnivore, they're burning fat. But you're also probably going to store some fat, and fat and carbs together, you're going to store more fat, I think. And so I may have to start eating lean meat, flank steak, filet mignon, what else? Rump roast, and things like that. And cut down on the fat from my meats. Along, if I'm going to be eating rice and yams, eat more chicken. I don't like chicken. When I was a carnivore, I could eat anything that has a mama, basically. So chicken, fish, all that stuff is good. But you learn to read your body when you're a carnivore, and eventually real carnivores will tell you fish and chicken just don't give you the pop that beef does. Beef is the greatest thing on the planet, and there's no replacing it. They don't fill you up like beef does. Beef with a lot of fat will fill you up. So, there's all these things. But I started eating a few yams, and the reason being I want to put some mass into the muscles a little bit. But we'll see what happens. Just started my introducing chicken and trying to cut back on the consumption of fat yesterday. So the jury's still out. I'll keep you posted on that, but that's my journey. But anyhow, back to testosterone. So they prescribed me 0.7 ml once a week. I questioned him on that. I think it's a little low. He said it might be, we'll start there. And that's fine with me. I questioned him about only once a week, but that's what he wanted to do, and I didn't give him a hard time about it. To be honest with you, I've been doing it twice a week, probably 0.5 ml twice a week rather than 0.7 ml once a week. But we'll see what happens. How do I feel? I feel pretty good. Like I said before, with testosterone, it varies, and I think there's something to it varying with how it reacts in different bodies. Like I said, I've heard that rap as a carnivore too. Well, what we eat, people, we're all different, and what we eat will have different results. And I'm like, I don't think so. You eat carnivore way of eating, this will happen. You'll lose weight and gain some lean muscle, and you'll look like you've been going to the gym even though you don't go. I almost guarantee it for anybody. It does that. And all you got to do is try it for 30 days. You'll see what I'm talking about. I say 90, but even 30 will work. But anyhow, so we'll see what happens. I go back for my test in 2 weeks. And so the journey has been pretty good. Like I said, the first time I did testosterone, next day, it felt like paradise. I haven't hit that again. I mean, man, my libido was like I was 20 years old. Everything was great. But it was only that one day like that. The other days and the other days since, there's good, there's okay. I haven't had any real down days. For me so far, if I'm reading my body right, and maybe I haven't given it enough time to really read it, I haven't really done the once a week thing, but I can tell you, even at twice a week for me, day 2, day 3, I feel good. Day 4, I start feeling it coming down a little bit. As you know, if you've done any research, and you need to do your own research, don't take anything I say as gospel. Although I've done my homework, but I can't do it for you. And I'm involved in lots of things in life, and I tell everyone, don't listen to anyone else. You do your own research. But bottom line is, most people don't live their lives that way. And I'm glad I do. Like I say, even if I do my own research, I might read the data wrong. I might read the results wrong. Be that as it may, I'm going to make an informed decision based on research, not based on what someone else says. And then I'll see, I experiment on myself and see if the results speak for themselves. And like I say, with the way I've lived my life, I'm 70 years old. I don't look horrible for 70, right? So it is what it is. Do your own research. So my journey's been a little up and not so much up. Good days, not as great days, but I haven't had any really bad days, I'll say that. Some guys do, man. So my guess, it is just a guess, because I haven't done more than 1 ml, a week, twice. I haven't done more than that. I'm thinking, hopefully, my doctor will say, well, let's go up to 1 ml. And if he says once a week, I'm still going to do it twice a week. Testosterone has a 8-day shelf life, or whatever you want to call it, half-life, which means every day it goes down a half. I think that's right. Don't quote me on that. But the bottom line is you hit your spike, and then days after that starts going down and down and down and reducing it in your body as it goes. So I think if you were to do it once a week, you'd probably have several days of not feeling too great. But there are guys that swear once a week is the way to go for them, and I don't question that. And I don't think it is for me. Like I said, I started feeling not as great on day 4. I don't think I've hit a day 5, except for the first couple of weeks I didn't do it before I got tested. But it is what it is. So I think that hopefully my next move will be a 1 ml a week, and we'll go from there. I'm thinking maybe 125 for me, but I'm just guessing. Like I say, reading online people's own experiences, it varies for them. There are placebo effects. The mind does funny things, and so I don't know how it all works out. But I know what I do. I know how I feel. I know how to read my body, and I haven't had any negative side effects per se. Yeah, so how's my libido now with the way that I've been doing it? Probably 0.5 ml twice a week. Well, let me say this. I was probably good at 70 years old for once a week. Didn't have much of a libido, but I do have a wife, so got to take care of business. And I ain't going to lie, when we'd have sex, felt good, but I didn't have that drive, you know what I mean? So anyhow, now, like 3 times a week, twice a week, and there's more of a sex drive. After that first time I did it, like I said, it was like I was 20 again. I mean, you was feeling that libido, man. You know what I mean? I don't feel it now like that. I wish I did. That was kind of cool. But I do have a bit of a sex drive, and I can have sex 3 times a week if I want to. And so it's good, man. And so, yeah, man. Oh, guys, it's kind of a game changer. But it is a thing to try to dial in your sweet spot. And hopefully the doctors can help us with that. Like I say, I don't trust them that much. I mean, but whatever. And we'll see what happens. So that's my journey so far. I showed you the needle that I do use, the syringe and needle. Did my research, tried a few things, and this is a 1-inch 25 gauge. As you know, the higher the number, the thinner the needle. 25 gauge seems like a sweet spot to me. I am going to try a smaller needle. I did try one when the guy from the gym was injecting me. He was doing my delts, and he tried a little one. He was doing intramuscular. Tried the insulin pen, and it hurt going in. I knew something was off, and I could feel it coming out of the syringe. I mean, it wasn't debilitating pain or nothing, but I could feel it, and it stung, and had a big knot for a week or two. And it may be the testosterone I was getting, I don't know. Haven't had any knots with the prescribed testosterone. I have had some pain. 2 shots ago, I'm doing them in my thigh now. That's what the clinic wanted, and props to the clinic. I mean, online, a lot of guys don't like the thigh, but that's the way they did it. So I'm like, okay, and it was nice. I had no pain, no nothing, and but I did have some pain, not when it was being injected, but after the fact in my right thigh, and I don't know why that is necessarily. I haven't had any knots. The fat buildup usually, or the oil buildup, creates a knot. And so I don't know why that was. Done one since then in the other thigh, and it's not sore. Very minimal soreness. 25 gauge is nice, though. It slips in pretty easily. You don't feel much of anything. And it's a big enough needle thickness-wise to where the oil goes in pretty well. I'm going to try, though. I've got some smaller needles. I'm going to try that as an intramuscular 5/8 needle, 25 gauge 5/8. I don't know if you want to go thinner than that. It makes the oil hard to push through. I'll see if the smaller needle actually hits the muscle. If not, you'll hit fat and, whatever. But I don't have a lot of fat on me. I tried one in my belly once, not with the clinic stuff, but with the homegrown stuff, and I had a knot there, and it wasn't cool, I don't think. So I guess intramuscular is the way to go for me, and but I will try a smaller needle just to experiment myself. I mean, if 5/8 works, and it should on my delts. I haven't done my delts with the clinic because they do thighs, but my thighs are not much fat on them. So we'll see what happens. I want it to hit the muscle. I don't want any problems. Like I say, 25 gauge 1-inch doesn't hurt. except for that one time so far. We'll see what happens going forward. I'll keep you posted. Man, help me out. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and if you leave a comment, a question on anything, I'll answer it. I'll try to get back to it. If I don't know the answer, a reasonable answer, I will research it myself. I will respond. I guarantee it. But in the meantime, hit a like or a share so I can get some views or something. I would think this would be kind of interesting. Oh, old men. Old men doing testosterone. And so keep up the good work, fellas. Let's go. I'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye-bye.